Hi, I'm Lukas, Berwick, and for my capstone, I focus on the power of adventure and how adventure can shape anyone who decides to dive in. What can be gained from living a life of adventure? A life full of memories? A life full of facing fear and challenges? Or is it to push the boundaries in hope of finding a bigger meaning? Or is there something more to adventure, like the lifelong friendships and the trust gained, or the openness of space to be yourself in God's beauty? My entire life, I've been pursuing adventures, from exploring the endless woods and building forts till the sun went down with my brother, or fly fishing and climbing peaks with my family, and listening to stories of my dad's mountaineering days, wondering how I can have stories like this. I remember sophomore year sitting in Mr. Spector's office. I don't know if you remember this, but me and Evan were talking about digital minimalism and how to limit technology. And in this talk came the topic of adventure. And that really sparked something in me to have adventure and go on trips. And after that, I told Evan that I was getting an off-roading truck this summer, and maybe we could go on some off-roading adventures and have some adventures. And little did I know what this would lead to. Every weekend for 2 years, off-roading up to alpine lakes, exploring endless cliffs, exploring the endless woods and God's beauty, and dropping cliffs on the most insane powder days. Through the power of adventure, the best memories in finding God and His intricate beauty can be found. Through my crazy adventures, I strive to use them for the glory of God, showing the power of adventure. Adventure is a thing that brings me life. It is a thing that I truly love. It is a thing that gives me a sense of community and a sense of brotherhood that I wouldn't have without it. It gives me adrenaline, dropping the most insane chutes, skiing, and how that gives me confidence to tackle anything. And adventure connects our souls in ways together that few experiences can. And there's something special about messing around all day in the woods, exploring cliffs, off-roading, or fishing, and truly tying it together around the fire with theological talks and talks of growing each other up as men. Out of all these adventures, I get to spend time with my best friends and truly live life on the edge and tie it back with God at the center. Adventure is the thing that has brought me closer to God through the people I'm with, and being in God's nature and noticing His every methodical detail and praising Him for it. Through my capstone, I want to show you the joys of adventure and show you how adventure can truly change your life if you decide to dive in. I focus on 4 areas on how adventure can grow you for my capstone. 1, how adventure gives you confidence to tackle anything in the real world. 2, how to find the good in each tough scenario. 3, the benefits of pursuing adverse situations, and finally, and I think the most important, the community that adventure brings. What I've learned is the key to life is confidence, and how I get confidence is through adventure. And being in high school with my friends, we don't make the smartest decisions sometimes, and this leads to getting into cliffed out areas and situations I wish I wasn't in, and watching Evan about to fall off a cliff, but that's another story. My mom's here, I can't talk about that. Or getting to the top of a chute or a couloir about to ski down. And out of all these situations, by my own power, I have to get out of the scenario, and I myself have to ski down. Now, it doesn't have to be as extreme of a situation as that. It can be climbing a 14er, or going for a hike, or going for a run. And in climbing a 14er, by your own power and your own strength, you get to the top of a mountain. And that truly brings confidence. Or going for a hike or a run and seeing how fast or how far you went. Through adventure, it shows you confidence. And what I've learned is if I can get out of a cliffed out situation, or I can ski that chute, or I can hike a mountain, then it brings me confidence and it shows me that I can do anything in real life. Now, senior year is filled with tons of challenges, like where to go to college, what to do for a career, and what to do after high school. And what I've realized, by pursuing adventure and the joys that brings and the confidence that brings, that I can tackle any of those decisions. And this leads to my second point, to seek the best in each scenario. We often focus on the bad in each tough scenario, and what adventure has shown me is to seek the good and see how that will benefit your life. For one of my capstone experiences, I went on a 4-day float trip on the Rogue River in Oregon. And the Rogue River is in the Rogue River Wilderness, and it is 36,000 acres of the most wild wilderness in North America. There can be no human impact, no structure, no building on this river. And It's truly evident by the wildness, through the lushness of the forest, the birds, the wildlife. It is truly amazing how remote this is. And it apparently rains a lot in Oregon, and I learned that this trip. On the first night, it was probably the hardest rain I've ever seen in my life. And we woke up the next morning, and the river had rose 3 to 4 feet overnight. And this river, Rogue River, is filled with tons of class 4 to 5 rapids. And the influx of water led to every rapid being 100% different. And the amount of trees that fell in the water, and the debris and sticks, the river was 100% different. And each guide was completely stressed out, and the stress of that whole situation was crazy. They're navigating a river that none of them have ever seen. And while we were going down the river, we approached this slot canyon right here. And what a slot canyon is 2 tall, narrow walls with a river going through it. And like I said, with all the logs and trees falling in the water, this led to a log jam. And in the slot canyon, a whole tree got ledged between both of the walls of the slot canyon. And there's tons of rapids in the slot canyon, so this led to a really bad situation, because you can't go over it because it could puncture or flip your boat, sending you down tons of class 4 to 5 rapids. And the stress on all the guides' faces, like I said, was now even heightened because of the danger of the situation and trying to navigate this situation. And it was just all in all bad situation to be in. But right after this, when we got around it, the most beautiful thing happened. Out of every crevice, every rock, every gully was water coming down. There's waterfalls over every rock, and it was a 360-degree view of waterfalls. In between the lushness of the moss and the trees and all the waterfalls, how I view heaven was this, and just how beautiful it was. And that showed me that amidst the hardest or the worst of worst situations, there's beauty. And if we focus on those bad situations, we won't see the beauty. We should seek the goodness in life. And our current lives are filled with stress, worry, anxiety, and we always miss the beautiful things. We miss those waterfalls. And if we focus to see the waterfalls, then our lives will turn around and we will get out of those scenarios, and it'll truly benefit our life. And that's what adventure has shown me. Now, adventure has also shown me to seek adverse situations. And adverse situations, they suck because they're hard, but they're the thing that bring life, and they just bring life. 92% of Americans would rather avoid hard situations and would rather be lazy because of a fear of failure, lack of confidence, and the biggest one, discomfort. We think that if we have every comfort available to us, we'd be happy. We equate comfort with happiness, and now we're so comfortable that we're miserable. It's a quote by Michael Piat. There's no struggle, no sense of adventure. We get in a car, we get in an elevator, it all comes easy. What I've found is I'm never more alive than when I'm pushing and I'm in pain and struggling for a high achievement. And in that struggle, I think there's a magic. There's a magic in hiking all day and getting to the top of the mountain and looking out on the vastness and beauty of God's jagged peaks. Now, it doesn't have to be climbing a mountain. It can be studying hard on a test and getting a good grade, or working hard and seeing the fruit that it bears. By climbing that mountain and looking out on the view of the hard work it gets you, it brings life. And I have an example for this with skiing. Over 15 times this year, before we went skiing, me and one of my friends were like, do we want to sleep in tomorrow or do we want to go skiing? And what I realized is if we would have chose to sleep in, we would have missed out on 15 days of adventure, 15 days of the bond, and 15 days of memories. Why? To be comfortable in a warm bed that we will forget. And we sacrifice a hard life for an easy life. And an easy life does not bring life, and that's what I've realized through adventure. Through getting to the top of the mountain, or the memories, through the pain, and through pursuing adverse situations, we find life. And this leads to my last point, and I think the most important one, the sense of community and friendship that adventure brings. Now this year, me and one of my friends, Jack, took an avalanche course in December. And in this avalanche course, we learned how to not get in an avalanche, how to know the ins and outs of snow studies, and how to save each other in the worst situations. And after a whole season of skiing backcountry together, our bond was like nothing that it was before. From the struggle and sense of pain of skinning up the mountain together and getting to the top and looking out in the awe of God's creation. And then at the top, trusting each other and trusting each other's snow knowledge and trusting that should we ski this or should we not ski that, and trusting each other that we could save each other in the worst of worst situations. In shared adventure, we find higher joy. We find transcendence as we lay down our needs and safety for others. These adventures tie people together in moments that outside of adventure could take decades or a lifetime to form. Through skinning up the mountain and the shared pain and the laughter of going up that together and getting to the top and being like, wow, like that, like some of those views right there. It is truly amazing looking out and sharing that experience together and then tying it back with trust. And then for one of my capstone experiences, I went on a hut trip with Mr. Spector, Mr. Wall, Jack, and Kemper. And what a hut trip is you skim back to a hut and you stay there for as long as you want and ski the backcountry. And I know what you're thinking, going on a hut trip with your principal and teacher, like, that doesn't sound fun. Like, why would you want to do that? But it's different with these guys. And adventure has shown me that adventure has no boundaries, and with friendship, it shows no boundaries. In our current society, you don't think principal-student friendship or teacher-student friendship is possible. But through adventure, it breaks all those boundaries. Through the fun and showing memories and laughter around the table, or singing country songs on a 5-hour skin up and throwing snowballs at Mr. Spector the whole way up. The fun and trust piece comes in. We were debating whether or not to ski under this cornice. And what a cornice is basically just a big wall of snow, and it is a leading cause to avalanches. And the photo on the left, you can see avalanche debris under that cornice. And when we were at the top, we put all our knowledge together to see if the snow is stable and good to ski under it. And in the worst of worst situations, to trust each other, to save each other. And as you can see, we did end up skiing under it. And through it all, we trusted each other's knowledge that it's safe, and we trusted each other to save each other. And through this trip, it showed me that adventure has no boundaries and can break all those boundaries that you wouldn't think is possible through friendship. Adventure has also shown me that you need to surround yourself and be with people to carry you up your mountain, literally and figuratively. Through climbing a mountain, you need people to push you and get you to your top, or whether that be in real life, to get you to your summit and how you can get you to your peak. And without my friends around me, I wouldn't get to the top of the mountain, or I wouldn't be at my best. And what I've realized is that surrounding yourself with people to get you up a mountain and down here to get you up your mountain to get you to your peak is who you should surround yourself with, and that's what adventure has shown me. And I think our senior class is a great example of this, because on this trip, it was our retreat, and every person helped someone get up the mountain. They encouraged, they helped, and it's a great example. And people would summit and come down to help people get up to the mountain. And this has shown me that you need people to come down their mountain to come help you up, and we'll do anything to help you up. And the Bible calls us to have this kind of relationship with our friends. Proverbs 27:9, a sweet friendship refreshes the soul. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, two are better than one because they have good reward for their toil. For if one falls, one will lift his fellow. The list goes on and on and on. The Bible can't stress enough how we need to surround ourselves with people to get us up our mountain. And when I'm going through tough times, I go to my friends through talks around the fire, or talks on a hike, or talks on climbing a mountain or skiing. And adventure allows for this space. Adventure allows us to have a space away from normal life, to feel connected with our friends, and the openness of space to be ourselves. Now, this isn't a direct adventure. Me and one of my friends, Evan, were touring colleges, and we were both going through spiritual battles, and through walking around the hotel till 2 a.m, allowed space to talk about this. And we only had probably 10% of each struggle figured out, and through all night talking about it, it allowed for this space for us to fully know what's going on. And what I've realized is that without camping every weekend, and without embarking on adventures together, and climbing mountains, and getting into bad situations, and growing each other up towards men, then we probably wouldn't have trusted each other to have that talk. And through adventure, and through embarking on adventures together, and getting each other up that mountain, it has showed me that it grows people in times that would take a lifetime to form, and you learn trust that you can only gain from those scenarios. and that trust leads to talks and growing each other up towards men. I wanted to play a video of some of my favorite adventures through my conclusion. Can't play it. Adventure is the thing that is most life-giving. Being in the great outdoors, being with God, the memories, and building each other up towards men. When I look at my life, I thank God for my friends, family, and godly people that I can embark on adventures with. I strive to use them for the glory of God and further my relationship with Him. Adventures also show me a sense of career and my love for fly fishing and how I want to guide people and use that to grow people for the glory of God. And there's a quote by one of the guides that said, "This isn't work, it's just being on the river, getting paid, and having fun, and being in the most beautiful spots in God's creation." Adventure has taught me how to be independent, how to get out of situations I wish I wasn't in, who to surround myself with, and how to be a man of Christ. Adventure can shape anyone who decides to dive in. Learn to seek adventure and see the fruit it bears through confidence, pursuing hard situations, finding the best in each situations, and the friendships. Now, what is the next step? You could go on a hike, climb that 14er, go on a run, or ski that terrain that you think is too hard. And in every adventure, reflect and see God's beauty in and after the relationship, or adventure. And when doing this, you'll see the beauty of God and how He works in your life. So whether you eat, drink, or whatever you do everything for the glory of God. Ultimately, get outside, have fun, take the risk, dive in, and don't say no to any adventure. Thank you.